Welcome to this week's Acca Route 1, the shorter version of our regular weekly podcast. I'm Tom, as ever, joined by Jimmy. And each Monday, we'll quickly run you through the midweek action, selecting our best bets and fancies, with this episode having a goals fourfold pushing 9-1. Let's know your thoughts in the comments all through Sport and Life Football's social media channels. And remember to keep it fun, never bet more than you can afford. This podcast is 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly. So then we'll focus on the Tuesday midweek games. There are a few results that are sticking out to me. I'm leaning more towards goals, though. Me and you are usually on the same page, so I'm hoping it's the same.
Yeah, I think this slate stinks of goals.
Lovely stuff. Almost like it wasn't pre-planned. That was a beautiful bit of acting for you there. Kick us off then. First potential game then that we can look at for some overs.
Yeah, I think Ipswich at home in the Championship has to be a overs Acca staple.
Right. Tell me about it.
Shall I?
Go for it.
Yeah.
All the time you want.
Tractor Boys, 44 scored, 26 conceded in 17 home Championship games. That's 4.2 a game, which is just...
That's a lot.
That's a lot of goals.
That's a lot of goals.
They can score them, they concede them. Overs has clicked in 14 of 17 at Portman Road. So I just think 4 to 5 as a single is insane, and you can get that generally across the firms.
Multiple places then.
Oh, yeah.
Bristol City, my mid-season bet on them to finish in the playoffs is looking so sweet. They have since drifted to 12 points away. So it's not gone well. Ipswich fully involved in now the title race at the top of the Championship. Leicester have just collapsed out of nowhere.
See that coming?
Yeah, they're now 3 points behind Leicester. Ipswich Leeds 5 points behind them, and they were miles away not too long ago, so it has got interest in there. Ipswich to beat Bristol City. I'll go with you on this one. Goals. Over 2.5 of them. Mm-hmm. Let me add another Championship game for you here. One that there's a few here that kind of jumped out a little bit.
I know what you mean.
Sheffield Wednesday versus Plymouth. Argyle was the one that I wanted to bring forward as the second potential in our over 2.5 goals treble, fourfold. We'll see how we go. It's landed in 23 of Plymouth's 35 games this season. Huge game at the bottom end of the table. Much like it is at the top, the bottom part is getting really compact. A number of teams still involved. Sheffield Wednesday have won games. They've now really given themselves a good chance of safety. And it has won in 7 of their last 10 games overall for Sheffield Wednesday. I think it could be a competitive game. I think Plymouth gone to this weird thing under Foster where it used to be home park was an absolute fortress. Nobody could get anything there. Seems to be teams are winning there, but they're now going away and surprising teams. So they've completely flipped that one around.
Put it in reverse.
To me, it's a game that does jump out as an over 2.5 potential. You add the 2 Championship games there, you've got a decent 23 to 10-ish double on those 2.
It's a good start. It is a good start. I cannot believe how good Ugbo's been for Wednesday.
What's he on now, goals-wise? Do you have it at the top? Do you want me to talk?
Off the top of my...
I'll tell you what.
I've got it here.
All right, I was just saying, I'll
got
talk
10 in the
full
Championship this season, 6 for Wednesday. Brace, blanked, goal, brace, goal. Last 5 games.
If he'd like to do one of those braces on Tuesday night, that'd be much appreciated if he wouldn't mind.
So tasteful. Wednesday, we've got a song for him that is stuck in my head because all my Wednesday mates sing it constantly.
Is it appropriate for?
Yeah, it's appropriate.
Podcast?
It's just so shit. It's a good song.
Right, one of
just
these.
Go
catchy.
Ugbo, boing, boing.
Yeah. I've seen this. I have seen this actually, and it is so bad it becomes catchy.
It's brilliant.
Sheffield Wednesday against Plymouth, Ipswich versus Bristol City. Over 2.5 goals, double there, 23 to 10. Nice starting point, do we think?
Yeah.
Should we take those 2? Your turn. Where else should we go?
Drop down a division to the top of League One, and I cannot believe this price. I'm sure you'll have seen these as well.
God, yeah. There's 3 games in League One for clarity. This one jumps out massively in this area.
9 to 10, Barnsley v Bolton over 2.5 goals.
Thank God you said that game. After all that, and you went Peterborough North. No, not that one. Yeah. Yes. Instant yes on board with this.
Well, for those who aren't aware, Barnsley have sort of emerged as the third tier's entertainers. Yeah. I don't really... Well, to be fair, they did win the opening game 7-0, so we probably should have seen it coming, but I don't know what happens to him, but when they go a goal down, they turn into Brazil. Honestly, fuck knows why. 4 of the last 5 games they've conceded first, and they've gone on to take 10 points from the 15 available. It's absolutely crackers. Goals wise, overs has landed in 15 and 21 at Oakwell. Both teams have scored in 15 of the last 16. The only niggling concern for me is this is a big game, and usually they can be a bit nervy, a bit cagey.
A little bit.
Yeah. But Barnsley recently played Derby, and that saw 3 goals, and that was surprisingly open.
Yeah, I'm all on board with it. I know what you say about kind of those games at the top, but you mentioned it there about the both teams to score 16 of 17 games. 1 clean sheet in 17 games.
It's absolutely nuts.
It's been 2-1 either way in the last 5 at Oakwell as well. Like, it is a big game, but then frankly, the track record of Barnsley this season is they can score, but they cannot defend. They can't keep teams out, but I suppose that doesn't matter when, if you're conceded 1, as they are doing, you score 2, it's not too much of a problem, hopefully.
Hopefully. Do you know what it is, why they concede so many? I haven't got the figures to hand, but watching them a lot, I'd be shocked if they played the same back 3 in the same position for more than 4 games. The back line is so unsettled, it changes it every week. They had Shepherd in the middle of a back 3 at the start of the season. He's gone on loan to Cheltenham. They tried D. Gavigny in the middle of a back 3. He's gone back to the right. They've signed Röhl from Fleetwood. They've just got in Pines. It's so unsettled. So there's not a surprise they concede so many, but they're so good in midfield and up front that just goals.
Goals. I'm all on board with this one. Yeah, massive game at the top of League One. A division that is very open now. Well, Portsmouth have obviously kicked on a little bit, but beyond that, there's quite the contest for that second promotion spot. All on board with that. Currently, those 3 teams are just shy of 5-1. I have one more game that I'd like to add that pushes this, what would be a 4-fold, to near 9-1. Another huge game. This comes from League 2. It's Mansfield versus MK Dons. Again, 2 teams who are hopeful, I think it's fair to say, of promotion, particularly Mansfield, who are now top of the league after the weekend's results, or recently. MK Dons still 5th, despite the fact they lost to Wimbledon last time out. Just a big game, this one. Mansfield, for context, have scored 14 goals in their last 2 home league games. Ridiculous. It's won in 6 of Milton Keynes' last 8 away games. It's won overall in 11 of their 17 away games. And in 22 games under Mike Williamson, over 2.5 goals has won in 13 of them. A lot of numbers there, but basically, it's landing a lot more in games involving Milton Keynes Dons than it isn't recently. And Mansfield just score so many goals. They have the ability. I mean, they covered over 2.5 goals 3 times against Harrogate themselves by scoring 9. A brilliant team. I think when it's not landing, it's basically a case of the opposition aren't scoring. You'd back MK Dons to probably get a goal, at least in this fixture. Mansfield versus MK Dons, you add that game in. The goals fourfold is near 9-1, depending where you look. That looks tasty.
It makes a lot of sense. The only explanation I can give as to why it's that big in this game is both 1-0 at the weekend. Mansfield won.
Yes.
MK Dons lost, but Mansfield were at Newport. Terrible place to go to. Absolutely terrible. It makes me sick thinking about it. Just Rodney Parade, isn't it? Have I fucked up the name?
Yeah, no.
Rodney Parade. It's tough.
You've lost your train of thought.
I have, yeah, because I get so worried with just saying.
Where were MK Dons? Where were they? The 1-0? That's where you were going?
No,
they weren't. Think about it. It was an early kick-off for a reason.
Wimbledon,
AFC
Boom.
Wimbledon.
Have you seen the commentary for Ronan Keator's last one?
Unbelievable, isn't it?
It's brilliant.
So, for context, Wimbledon won in the 93rd minute, or 3rd minute of added time at Plough Lane to beat MK Dons. It must be maybe the first time they've beaten MK Dons at Plough Lane since they've come back there, probably.
First time I'm aware of.
If I'm wrong, correct me on that one. But yeah, the commentary is good. Seek it out on Twitter if you can find it.
It's brilliant. Second time Ronan Keator has done that last minute winner.
I thought it was an unbelievable signing when they got him in
You
January. I think it was just obviously he's coming off the back of a serious injury. If he can stay fit, he's just a miles better player than that level, isn't he?
Too good for the division.
Hell of a pickup for Wimbledon, who are obviously looking to push back to playoffs. But more importantly, for this game, not involved. Shall we settle on those 4 teams?
Yeah.
I think for an over 2.5 goals treble then, we will take on Tuesday night, it's Ipswich to beat Bristol City. No, wrong. I've gone the other way. Over 2.5 goals in Ipswich against Bristol City, I should say. Sheffield Wednesday against Plymouth. Barnsley versus Bolton. and Mansfield versus MK Dons. That fourfold over 2.5 goals, around 9-1. Really tasty. Coming up in the second part, we'll talk any other bets. Any other bets time then? I know it's your favourite part of the Monday show because you can just do whatever you want, any bet you want.
Shackles are off.
Just throw it out there for the midweek action. Take us away then. Where are we looking first off?
Back to Oakwell. We fancied goals.
Yes.
Why not tip a goal scorer?
That would make sense if we're fancying goals.
It would, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Adam Phillips is the man. 5-. Ooh, I put down 4-1. I'm sure it was 5-1 when I checked.
Around 4-5 to 1.
5-ish to 1.
Yeah.
We Sky bet any time. 50 to 1 the brace, which you've got to do just in case.
Just
You've
in
got
case.
to do it just in case. I put down in my notes printing money, and I think that's probably an understatement. He shouldn't be this price. He's got 6 goals, 5 assists this season. They have all come since mid-December. He got a brace against Bolton, brace against Leyton Orient. He's scored some more goals.
All I'm hearing is he has scored goals.
Yeah, scored goals
All that
all
matters.
very recently. And the problem is, he's the most advanced player of a midfield three with Luke O'Connell and Herbie Kane. And I call him he's Hollywood. Like, the type of passes he does, where he takes shots from, he's on set pieces. Like, he's not a luxury player, he's just gorgeous technically.
Gorgeous technically.
Gorgeous.
5-1 your best price, Sky bet on that one.
And you
92
have-
generally, 4-1. Shortest price you get in is 7-2. So I think you value anywhere really, wherever you
across
look.
the board, yeah.
5-1 biggest price on that one. Adam Phillips in Barnsley versus Bolton then.
Mm-hmm.
Our lads in Leeds versus Stoke tomorrow night. Leeds looking to get back to winning ways. Patrick Bamford, best price of 13-10. Bit shorter. It's not the Jim Rod, special of 5-1. Maybe go for a brace. I didn't look at that just in case. Bamford came into the Leeds team in 2024, basically, since New Year's Day. Kind of changed up the system a little bit. Leeds are, frankly, a better team with him in it. 5 goals in 7 starts since he came back into the 11 on that New Year's Day game against Birmingham. He also got one from the bench against Leicester. Scored against Huddersfield last time out. Could have scored a second and a winning goal there. Yep. 13-10 in a game that, frankly, Leeds should win. Seems like good value to me. Double it up. Who knows? 2 goal scorers there for a Tuesday.
Little Doobski.
That will be bigger than 5-1. So there you go.
Take some of that action.
Have you got any others that maybe you want to discuss before we get out of here?
Yeah, I'll just quickly mention the Man City vs Copenhagen on Wednesday, Champions League. Man City, obviously, in the driving seat, 3-1 up. Should get through with relative ease. They're 1-6 on to win the game. But I think it's always worth, at the minute, getting involved with both teams to score in City games, no matter who they are playing. Again, I probably should have had the stats to hand, but they conceded a lot of goals. They conceded against Man City in the Champions League. I think they only kept 1 clean sheet, and that came at home to Young Boys. Conceded in every other game in the group stage. So, best price, it's over even money, 29-20. I'm looking at on Oddschecker at the minute about both teams scoring. Nothing to lose for Copenhagen. They're fully expected to go out. 2 goal deficit to overturn. They should just go to Etihad and have a good time.
Have a good time, yeah. It could easily be one of those games where City go 3-0 up.
Yeah.
And then it's just stop. Copenhagen get a goal out of nothing type one.
Type 1, sorry. The other thing, they've got Liverpool at the weekend. City
They have, yes. Huge game.
Massive. None of the big hitters are going to be involved. And if you're making that many changes, it's going to be unsettled start at least. You're vulnerable.
You're vulnerable. So that's in the City Copenhagen game on Wednesday. That's your both teams to score. I'll take you back to Tuesday for the Champions League because PSG to beat Röhl Sociedad 17-10 jumped out to me. Don't quite get it. I don't know why. PSG are 2-0 up for context in the tie. Sociedad's only win in the last 9 was away at Mallorca. PSG are now unbeaten in 20 games, 14 of which have been wins.
Shit.
Take the away team in that one.
The only thing I can think of is they are 2-0 up. They don't need to win.
Yeah.
Is that why they're that big?
I don't know. Presumably. I mean, it seems a case of I don't really buy into the notion of that because you need to win, you will win. I know we do talk about it on the podcast, don't we? We say, look, they need to win the game. It doesn't mean that they will. And frankly, if you're playing a better team than you, could easily... maybe. And then if they have to attack, PSG, pick them off. There you go. It's another win, 17-10. And a game of other equal importance, just as big as this, is Woking against Kidderminster in the National League. Woking have stung us recently, but in a game that could go either way, I'll just fancy Kidderminster 7-4-ish. pushing 2-1 in there. They've won each of their 4 away league games under Phil Brown.
Giddy.
Genius at Kidderminster, yeah. Really turned it round there. Maybe they're just a team suited to playing away games. I'm not entirely sure. But you go PSG, Kidderminster, chuck Leicester in there away at Sunderland for good measure, because they've got to turn around and win eventually, haven't they? Surely, again. Around 13-1-ish, that treble, if you're after a results one.
Really?
I don't hate that at all. I know it's 3 away teams on a whole slate of fixtures. I don't hate it.
13-1.
13-1 on PSG, Leicester and Kidderminster.
Shit.
Kidderminster are the big question mark, which is why I didn't want to build the actual Acca that we did around them, because I don't know. But if you wanted a results one, why not? Try those 3.
Got a lot of options.
A lot of options. Yeah. Is that it? You got any others, or should we round it off there?
I'm done.
Done?
Yep.
All out. Give me one of them, as ever. If you could only back one of them, which one would it be, and why is it Adam Phillips?
Excluding the goal scorer the goals quadruple, which I really love.
Yeah.
It's got to be Phillips, hasn't it?
Yeah, fair enough.
Got to be.
Yeah, I'd probably, maybe PSG if I had to pick one of the many that I've discussed there. Happy?
I'm happy.
Let's get out of here then. But make sure you get in touch on social media. You know, as we always say, get in touch with us. Let us know. Obviously, we had the winning Acca. We'll discuss that. Finally, we can actually win these things on Saturday. Hey, we'll talk about that fully in the Thursday episode. If you are having a bet on any of our selections, remember to keep it fun. Never bet more you can afford. Please gamble responsibly. Head over to sportinglife.com/football. You'll be able to find the enhanced 4-fold of goals that we mentioned in the first part available at an enhanced price. And if you haven't already, please follow, rate us on iTunes, Spotify, or your chosen podcast provider. We will be back with the main episode on Thursday.